Well, welcome everyone. First off, thank you, Ashley and Parent and Family Programs for having the Institute Communication Special and Events Office here today to talk to you all about Georgia Tech's, we like to say it's the biggest event because it is the one that gives us all staff, faculty, and staff job security, is getting your students to graduate, right? That's the main goal of a student coming to Georgia Tech, is to end up with that degree. And so we are so excited to have you all here. It takes a village to get those students across that stage. So again, let me tell you all my name. My name is Jillian Cruser. I am one of the members of the Special Events and Protocol Office in Institute Communications. As you can tell, we plan commencement. I'm also, my role is a Senior Institute Event Coordinator. So a little bit about us. It's a small but mighty team. A core three of us focus on commencement. So some of these members are either leaving the Institute. My colleague, Rachel Miller, is actually accepted a job at Kennesaw State. So we are going to be a mighty team of two plus two students when it comes to planning commencement. So if you see our email there, please email us. We are in a open office environment. So we actually don't, we have a commencement hotline, but the email is more checked regularly just because of our new environment that we are currently working in. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if your students do, please email us at the email right there. And thank you for your understanding in any delay. We usually like to communicate with you all once you send your email within 48 to 72 hours. So please note that we have received your email. If you email us at that address right there, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. So thank you for your patience and understanding. But yeah, that's us. I'm there in the rec. That was one of my events, so they forced me to go into the rec alone. But anyway, moving forward. So the fall 2024 commencement schedule, it's changed a little bit like in years past, and we'll explain why in a second. But as you can see, we start on Thursday, December 12th with the PhD ceremony in McCamish Pavilion. Doors open at 4, ceremony starts at 5. Because this is more of an intimate ceremony, I will not be getting a PhD, so it's a smaller group of graduates because it's a hard degree to get, so no tickets are required for that. Friday, December 13th, that is one of our biggest populations graduating this semester. For the bachelor ceremony, same venue, McCamish Pavilion. Doors open at 1, ceremony begins at 2, and tickets are required. As of right now, students are guaranteed 4 tickets. We do not know if we will have will call just yet because even though RSVP closed on Friday, November 1st, we are taking late RSVPs for the week up until Friday, November 8th. Then we end our ceremonies that we're planning Saturday, December 14th, the Institute Master Ceremony at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Doors open at 8. Ceremony starts at 9 a.m. Because it's a football stadium, we will not pack out the stadium. No tickets are required. Now, as you can see, following that, we have ceremonies later on in the morning and early afternoon. So the reason why we changed to this schedule and order of operations is because, as I mentioned before, we're a team of 3. So the amount of students that are coming in and thankfully graduating are steadily increasing throughout the years. And it's no longer sustainable for our office to be putting on these big of ceremonies, being that we are a small team. In addition, because of how big these graduating classes are, it obviously makes our ceremonies longer. And if, for example, if we were to have every master's student cross that stage at our Institute Master's ceremony, we would be there for about 4.5 to 5 hours. And no one wants to be sitting down for 4.5 to 5 hours for a ceremony. We want to make sure that it's clean, concise, quick, so you guys can go and celebrate after your student's big event and big accomplishment. So at the Institute Master Ceremony, students will be standing and sitting for their recognition. We'll be recognizing the students according to their college. So for example, when we get to the College of Engineering, all the students will stand up. The President Cabrera will say, I bestow upon you your degree in the College of Engineering, and then they will sit down. If they want to walk across the stage, they will do so at their college master ceremony. And as you can see, we have 6 colleges at the following times and locations. And we'll talk more about how you can find out more about those in a little bit. Great, moving forward. So in other ways to celebrate, we'll have a commencement watch party. It's basically a live viewing location only for the bachelors, because that is the only tickets required ceremony that we are planning. When it comes to the master's college, they do some of their ceremonies do have tickets, but that's according to their ceremonies and what they're doing. But we will be having a live viewing party of the stream in O'Keefe Gymnasium, which is right next to McCamish. So if we only limit the tickets to 4, for example, and there's no will call available due to our high RSVP numbers, again, that is yet to be determined, but you will still be able to watch live and then meet your student after the ceremony. So know that obviously you can't sit next to your student as you go across that stage. So either way, you're able to watch it, be on campus, and then meet up with the rest of the group later after your student's big moment. So no tickets are needed for this. All right, so a little bit about McCamish Pavilion. As you can see, what is allowed and what is not allowed. We do have bag valet. It will be for McCamish Pavilion for all those ceremonies. It will be located at the tennis courts across from the pavilion. They're very easily seen, so you won't have to really look. You'll see them right when you turn onto that on that street to get to McCamish. This is just some of the items that are allowed and what are not allowed. But if you go to that website, again, we will share, I've shared this presentation with Ashley. So once I'm able to once it uploads and I can send it to her, she will send this or post or do whatnot with this presentation. So you can check any of the links that I encourage you all to visit. So some of these items that are allowed: blankets, medical devices, baby food with child in arms, small clutch, and a clear bag. Again, we abide by the clear bag policies here, and they do not change. The clear bag policy does not change from McCamish and Bobby Dodd. They're the same. What are not allowed: outside food or beverage, umbrellas, horns or other noise makers, selfie sticks, backpacks, cameras with lenses. Woo, talking, it's hard today on a Monday. Lenses longer than 4 inches, and strollers. So go to that Ramblin' Rec/Clear Bag site. You'll find out more information there on what can and cannot be. A lot of people ask us if we rent out wheelchairs. We do not, and neither does Do Athletics. So if you go to our commencement website, you can find more information about that as well. So that was our first venue. The second venue for the Institute Masters celebration, same thing. Bag valet will be located obviously at different locations, being that we are in a different venue for the Institute Masters ceremony. One will be located at Gate 1 and on top of the Peters parking deck. And you can find Peters parking deck off of Bobby Dodd Way. You can also find all these locations on the Georgia Tech map, which we actually update, which now I think about, oh, we have to do that as well. We have to update with our colleagues over at Campus Planning. They actually put the cutest little graduate caps on top of the places that are affiliated with commencement. So it makes it fun and festive when it comes to those little details for commencement, because it's again, we're all celebrating across campus, because all of us who work here obviously interact with your students or a student while we're here at Georgia Tech, and we're very proud of them. So we want to make sure that go to the campus map, see that cool little feature. And again, that link will be eventually posted once we update all of our parking locations on the commencement website. So yeah, there's Bobby Dodd Stadium. All right, so guest seating and concessions. So to start with guest seating, the seating charts will be posted on the commencement website. And what we mean by seating charts, it will be basically where your student is sitting either on the basketball court or on the football field. Some parents and guardians like to sit as close as they can to the student. Regardless of where you sit, you're not going to be sitting close to your student. So please keep that in mind. We will have professional photos taken of them before they go on the stage, as they're going on the stage. and then as they walk off the stage. And that includes also the college master ceremonies as well. Those will be later available for your personal purchase if you decide to move forward with that. We also have jumbotrons in both arenas, even though the students will not be crossing the stage in Bobby Dodd. We will be having the jumbotrons on there, so you will see them on there. But either way, there's no bad, what I'm trying to get out is there's no bad seat in the house. But you can also, if you really want to sit on your students on the same side that your student's sitting on, those will be posted soon close to the commencement website. Again, no tickets are needed for the PhD or Institute Master's ceremony. Your students will be receiving communications about tickets. We work with the athletics team for the bachelor's ceremony and the college master's ceremonies. They're also working either with athletics, or if they're in a non-athletics venue, they're working with whoever there. Some of them don't require tickets. So they do have their individual commencement web pages, and we'll get into that soon. Again, if you're a student RSVP'd by this past Friday, they're allotted 4 tickets each. We make accommodations for everyone. So if I'll be honest, if they also RSVP by this Friday, they will also receive 4 tickets each. So, because the numbers are looking pretty good so far, but that might change. So make sure your student, if they haven't RSVP'd yet, do not RSVP for your student. Sometimes we go in and we try to make sure that their name looks correct from when it's posted on the Jumbotron when they walk across the stage. And sometimes we find that if the student's name is different, sometimes it's either their spouse or their mom who RSVP for them. Although we do appreciate you doing this for them because we understand that life is busy, people need some help sometimes, and you really want to make sure that they get it in on time. We get really confused by that. So make sure that your student does it on their end and really getting them prepared for that real world out there. I always tell my students and joke around, this is how you basically would RSVP for a wedding or any big life event. So thank you for your understanding with that. More information will be found on the seating commencement webpage. That's where you will see, it's a big color-coded document of who's in the College of Computing versus College of Engineering and where they're sitting and whatnot. So late, again, like I said, late RSVPs can currently get 4 tickets because we like being nice as much as we can until space tells us not to. Will call, again, like I mentioned before, will be determined mid this month. And more information regarding will call will be posted on to the graduates and or emailed to the graduates, excuse me, and posted on the commencement website. So whenever we get those final numbers in, that's when we're going to determine how much space we have left in the venue and if we are allotted room for will call. Because we also have to think about behind the stage. We are not a Taylor Swift or Beyonce concert. We do not sell tickets for behind the stage. We don't want to do that to anybody. And also we don't sell tickets, they're for free. So know that we are not Ticketmaster, but also we have to abide by fire code and fire safety of how many people are allowed in the stadium, being that, or in the arena, being that we do have students on the court as well. ADA seating. So I mentioned wheelchairs a little bit before. The wheelchair seating will require physical tickets. This ticket is included in your 4 ticket allotment. But even if you don't need tickets for your respective ceremony, for example, the PhD or the Institute Masters, you still need the seating to show the ushers that will be at the venue that you have a wheelchair and then a +1. So we want to make sure that those who are in a wheelchair are not just sitting there alone with people that they don't know. We allot 1 more ticket, so for their +1 to sit next to them, and it's usually just a regular chair right next to them in each venue. So students who noted in their RSVP form if they needed ADA seating, they will be contacted by our office, making sure to clarify what they needed, if they need a wheelchair or whatnot, and then we'll be more in touch with them on how their tickets will be picked up or sent to them via digital phone. We like making sure that each ticket looks different. Those who walk with a cane, for example, my brother-in-law walks with a cane, he would not need an ADA ticket. We do have reserved seating close to the ADA wheelchair sections. They're either 2 rows above. For Bobby Dodd, it's either 2 rows above or 2 rows below the wheelchair seating for McCamish Pavilion. Those will be the first 2 rows underneath each ADA seating. So you won't be too far, but seating is first come, first serve. So make sure you come in when the doors open. Sometimes people come in 2 hours before for will call. We love that enthusiasm. It reminds me of Black Friday. So, but just make sure that you take those notes and really discuss this with your student, because due to FERPA regulations, we have to be contacting the student and talking with them through their RSVP process. So obviously I talked about a little bit about how long the ceremony can go. We are not going to go 4.5 or 5 hours, so don't worry about that. But I love snacking. I'm currently pregnant, so I'm eating all the time. So concessions is really important, right? So snacks and drinks will be available for guests. We also have bouquets and GT gear for sale. So if you want that alumni shirt or a little GT hat and you weren't able to get it, or it's not coming in on time, because obviously we know it's the holiday season if you celebrate, and or if anyone celebrates, and shipping is shipping, right? During this time of the year. So know that we do have gear for you to purchase there for sale. And the Barnes and Noble at Georgia Tech will also be open in Tech Square for any other purchases if you don't like any of those items at the venue. So know that you have options for getting that last minute bouquet or hat or t-shirt. Also, there's where the florals are sold, there's a class of t-shirt. We always get a request for these t-shirts after the ceremony ends, but those t-shirts are only available at the ceremony. So because you guys are here and attending this lunch session, know that you got the VIP information, that you'll only be able to get those there. Great. Let's see. Awesome. So we're going to tour the commencement website real quick. Before you email us, take a gander at this website. I'm going to open it up for you, and then Ashley, if you don't mind letting me, can you see the commencement website right here?
No, not yet. It's still showing.
Oh, okay. My
PowerPoint.
presentation. Okay, 1 second. We just love good technical difficulty, huh? Okay, let's see. Here we go. All right, can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it now.
Awesome. Okay, great. So this is our commencement website, commencement.gotech.edu. As you can see, we're still having RSVP for commencement box up. We have all these festive things, festive colors. So if you have any questions about the schedule that I listed before, you can view the schedule here. Scroll down. I apologize for anyone who might be motion sickness. I'm trying to go slow so I don't make anyone dizzy. But if you scroll down, you'll find out more about each ceremony, like I said before. And if you're a guest, you can always go to the guest tab right here, and you could find all the information, plan your visit, where you want to stay. You can go back to the guest event information. Then, and this is where you can find again the schedule, venue parking, tickets and seating. That will be updated with what this is where the will call will be updated. Accessibility. So this is where information about wheelchair seats and wheelchair rentals off campus can be found. Georgia Tech traditions and other ways to watch, which would be our viewing party. All of our ceremonies will also be streamed online. So if you are from out of town and something happens, you can still make it online. So don't worry about that. Your students can also find information here. So graduate checklist, we'll talk about regalia in a little bit. Again, their tickets, those who are applying for student speaker, and then memorabilia and keepsakes. But this is really, the graduate checklist is also a great way to kind of, I love a good checklist. I don't know about y'all, but I love the gratification I get when I cross something off of my to-do list. So this is a good way for students to get the same type of gratification if they can relate. So know that regalia is still being sold. It's just now the deadline has passed, so they will have to pay a late fee. But we don't mail out the diplomas. So for example, confirm your diploma mailing address. So this kind of like lets it down step by step on what they need to do and what they need to know. This will obviously be updated as well with Bobby Dodd information. as we confirm logistics, being that Bobby Dodd, I don't know if y'all have been on campus recently, but it's going through some construction. I always laugh and think that it's going through like a Marvel movie, like an Avengers movie, like half of it got destroyed by alien battle. I don't know. I always say this to myself because traffic, you have to say your stuff to yourself to get through Atlanta traffic if you haven't experienced it before. But that's a little bit about our commencement webpage. So before you email us, take a gander here. We try to make it as simple as possible. Just make sure you scroll, and this is a good way to know more about what's coming up. Okay, I'm going to go back to the presentation. Hopefully I can share, find a way to share it, go back. Okay, all right. Ashley, can you see the presentation again?
Yes, I can see it.
Awesome, great. So that's a little bit about our webpage. Now, some tips and tricks. Since you came here, I'm going to have to give you the VIP info. So the first thing is the guidebook app. This is something brand new that we're bringing to for the first semester. First semester, we're using it for commencement. We're finalizing the app. We're about to publish it, and we are going to encourage your students and on the commencement webpage to download the guidebook app. So what this is, Ashley actually just used it for parent and family programs, and your students might have used it for Week of Welcome. So it's something that people on campus are starting to use more and more. And so this is basically your own version of a schedule. I would show you my phone, but it's only on my personal phone right now, so I apologize. But it is an app that basically you can even see the ceremony schedule, and your student or you can add it to your schedule and make your own personalized schedule, especially for those master's students. It's super helpful for them because they might have multiple things to go to. And so when you select the ceremony you're going to, or you want to learn a little bit more, each ceremony has, especially for the Institute Masters, or excuse me, for the College Masters, they have their own web pages. So if you download the guidebook app, you'll be able to get to the respective web page as soon as possible. So we are doing just some usability testing, making sure that I set it up in a way that is easy for you to use. Ironically, I stink at technology while working here at Georgia Tech. So I want to make sure that everything is user friendly, because if I can use it and I can build it, that means that there's faith for humanity and that you guys can use it, because let me tell you, I'm a struggle with an Excel sheet, for example. So we're going through that now, but that will be coming out via email and also posted on that awesome commencement website that you'll see later. So please, please, please download the guidebook app. If you want to start downloading it now, please do. If you want to wait, totally fine. And if you don't want to download an app, or if you still have a flip phone, let me know, because I want to give my kid eventually a flip phone when they start asking me for an iPhone down the line. So they have to start in the same struggle that I started with the LED and the snake games. They can't start with Candy Crush. Anyways, moving forward. There's going to be a lot of people on campus for, and understandably so, a lot of people are coming out to celebrate the big accomplishment of your students. So designate a meeting spot for after the ceremony so you can easily find each other, so you guys can get to your vehicle or however mode of transportation and then go celebrate after or before the ceremony. Make sure you charge your phone. I know, even though I said that you guys are going to have some professional, or your students going to have some professional pictures to be taken, we understand that you want to put stuff on your phone. So make sure you charge your phone. My phone is infamous for dying quickly. So make sure you charge that, including your student, because they might use it to download their grad pass. We'll go into that in a little bit, as you can see by the bullet point list. So make sure you everyone's charging their phone. I mentioned earlier about Atlanta traffic and what I say to myself and the stories I say to myself to make sure I don't get any road rage, because I'm originally from New Jersey, want to make sure that I'm a nice person on the road. So Atlanta is infamous for its traffic. Please plan accordingly. I heard someone from the Student Center say in an interview one time that there's a 30-minute rule. If you are 15 minutes away, designate 30 minutes to get there, because you want to make sure you find your obviously you find a parking spot, and then you have to walk to the venue. So plan for that accordingly. Graduates, again, I talked to you a little bit a second ago about grad pass. Grad pass is what students scan. It's a QR code that they will be sent They will scan that at their ceremony if they are walking at the designated ceremony, and in order for their name to be announced and displayed on the screen. So that is why it's important for your student to RSVP instead of mom or dad or aunt and uncle or any other guardian, because we want to have their name displayed, not mom's name displayed, even though that would be a prank, I would think, if you purposely did that. So I don't know how many people will laugh about that. So make sure that you now know about the grad pass, tell them to print it out, because we have had students who've come into our little troubleshooting table that will be available when students enter the venue. And they said, can you print out my grad pass? My phone died. Or real story, can you print out my grad pass? My cat peed on mine this morning. So just make sure you print it out, because that way you don't have to worry or rely on technology. But you can always screenshot it just the same. So if you're planning celebrations after ceremony, like I mentioned before, which I know you all are, make sure that if you have dinner or lunch or whatever reservations should begin at least within 1 hour of the ceremony or after the ceremony. I know that for the bachelors, their ceremony starts at 2. So make sure you plan any brunch or other pre-celebrations early enough to where they can get to the ceremony on time. Our student lines get really, really, really long, and it might delay the ceremony depending on how many students are still coming in. So make sure that you plan accordingly and early enough to make sure that you're here on campus within an hour of ceremony start. So if you want to take pictures beforehand at that brunch, make sure to get to or on campus after brunch or after your celebrations or before, whenever. Make sure to get to campus early, because I mentioned Atlanta's infamous for its traffic. So, and obviously we have a very big campus, and students might want to take pictures at their building where they had all their classes, or at that infamous Tech Tower lawn. So make sure you get there early. And also there might be people taking pictures at those locations as well. So, which gives lines to that as well. So make sure you keep that in mind. Awesome. So those professional pictures that I mentioned earlier, those are taken by Grad Images. So making sure you register with Grad Images right here. Again, this presentation will be emailed, so Ashley will be able to share this link when I send this to her. So make sure you register that. I think they have an anniversary sale going on. So I believe that there might be some freebies that might be given to this semester's graduates, which are super exciting. I think it's a free 5x7. Hopefully that's still the case, fingers crossed, but just make sure you go on there and register, and you'll get more information there. All right, I mentioned regalia earlier when we were looking at the commencement website. It is imperative that your student gets regalia. Why? Because they will not be let inside the door if they do not have it. We have had students, our students are very smart. And also resourceful. So for example, when we used to have to do all of our ceremonies in Bobby Dodd due to the pandemic a few years ago, we did have a group of students who were sharing one piece of regalia. So as one person would walk on the stage, walk off, they would take off their regalia and then give it to their friend in order to walk on, walk off. I thought it was very sustainable and very resourceful. But the emergency office that was in our emergency operations booth above thought it was a security risk, wondering why people who are not in regalia are on the field. So we have required that everyone wears the regalia, even if they're having it on draped over their arm before they enter. They are not allowed to enter until they have regalia on. So make sure that you go to the Barnes and Noble at Georgia Tech. They have all their regalia needs there, updated with the new seal that we've had updated a year or two ago. So make sure your student purchases that. You can do that online as well. You can do it online for shipping or do it online for store pickup. And then we mentioned the grad pass earlier. Make sure you grab your grad pass. It will be emailed to your student only, and they can either print it out or have it on, screenshot it on their phone. Either way, we do have a troubleshooting table at our venue. So if anything happens to it, or if they forgot to RSVP in general, we do our best to accommodate every student as much as we can. We have historically have not said no to a student to come into the building. So we make do with what we have. I can't promise that for every semester, but know that a student has to be wearing regalia, and we can always take care of their grad pass later, regardless of what might have happened to it. Awesome. So this is your time to ask me questions. I'm not able to see them. I'm going to keep this presentation up if I have to go back some slides, or if I have to go to the website to show you an area. But again, like I mentioned before, here's our commencement hotline. When it comes to email, that is what we regularly check. I have my student worker checking it right now as we speak. So if you have a question, you can always email it now. But also know, again, that commencement website and that eventually guidebook will be available for you. So what questions can I answer? And I'm just going to take a sip of my water.
Yes, thank you so much, Jillian. If you're just tapping in, the Q&A is open question and answer. You can select that and enter your questions there. As of right now, we don't have any questions. So like I said, I just wanted to thank Jillian for taking the time to do this presentation, to make sure that you guys are prepared for December's graduation. So this is not information that will go into the spring. This is specifically for December. So if your student is graduating December of 2024, this information is pertinent to that information. And we will host another one in the spring for our spring graduation. So just wanted to clarify that. Okay, so this first question says, can you explain again about registering with grad images for photos? Is that to receive photos?
Yes, so that's to get notification when your photos are ready, and they'll probably send it to you. For example, when I register for I like to run. I don't know why. I have a love-hate relationship with running, but for my half marathon, when I registered, they automatically registered. This is different than ours, but they automatically registered me to receive photos for later purchase. It's kind of the same with grad images. So if you want to receive those photos, you'll be able to get more information there. Know that when your photos are taken, there's going to be literally thousands of students images taken throughout that weekend. So it might take at least 72 hours to 5 days to receive those photos, because we do get emails. They're like, where are my pictures at? And we're like, so it's been 5 hours since the ceremony. It might take a little bit to get those to you, since we have so many awesome yellow jackets walking across that stage. So if you register with that, you'll get more information regarding the photos.
Can you reshare the link to register with grad images?
Sure. There you go.
Put it in the chat as well here. And
Sure,
also just keep in mind, when we post this recording to the Hive, there will be hyperlinks in the post. So things that we address, like grad images, things like that. If you're watching this recording, just click through the post and the links will be available in the post as well. Okay, I'm putting this out in the chat for everyone. And are there any restriction on what graduate stoles a graduate can wear?
So they just have to be approved by legitimate stoles and whatnot. So for example, usually they're given out by an office. So I always like providing examples with my questions. So I was a sorority woman on campus, not here, but at my respective university alma mater. And so I had a approved Alpha Phi stole. So I think student engagement might have a link on what is appropriate and what's not appropriate, or our licensing. So I can double check into that. For cords, again, those are usually given out through specific departments that your students might have been involved in. That are apart from the honor cords. So that's up to those departments. As for honor cords, that information will be listed on our website. So they'll either be able to be picked. They're only available for bachelor's. Honor cords are only for bachelor's graduates. So you can pick those up at the registrar's office when they're ready, or before the ceremony begins, that the bachelor ceremony begins when your student enters the building, or the venue, excuse me.
This question says, do parents register or the student?
You can do both, because we understand, I'm guessing this is for grad images. So you can do both, because that you might want to purchase those pictures for the student. But your student information is already sent to grad images. I send them the list of the graduates in their emails, not much more information than that because the grad images doesn't need the rest of the information that we need, but they already get the students' information just in case. But I still encourage people to register with grad images. I'm a just in caser when it comes to it, and it comes with being an event planner.
Any other questions? Just looking through here. We'll do a last call for any questions, and then if not, we will gift you a gift of time and go ahead and wrap this up.
Well, I'm hoping that's a good sign. I covered a good amount of info.
It is, and you know what? If you like I say, if you're catching the recording, Jillian, if you want to go back to your hotline page,
Sure.
So if you're
There you go.
if you are watching the recording, you have questions, we ask that you send them directly to this email. Of course, the Hive is not consistently monitored, so if we catch it in a comment, that's fine. We'll send it over to Jillian's team, but this is the best way to directly contact them. Oh, okay. One more question here says, are seats assigned for attendees or festival style with the tickets?
It is not. It's first come, first can't talk today again. First come, first serve seating for guests.